So much is on my mind.
Okay.
We've had a couple buyers come into town lately.
Yeah, we have.
And I love people who are like talking about how realtors just get paid for opening doors.
If they only knew.
If they only knew how many freaking doors we opened.
Yeah.
I had one guy, and it was a Zillow lead, and 5 days looking in the Cape. We went from everything from a $250,000 HUD property that looked like it should have been condemned to
How were the smells in that one?
I need to put booties on in order to get into that thing, and so. But I even told him he really wanted it. I'm like, I'm afraid you're gonna die in the backyard renovating this thing. So
or catch hepatitis.
But we went all the way from that to $700,000 Airbnbs that were 5 bedrooms that were perfect for his family. But one thing or another wasn't matching up with his wife's desires, and needless to say, we never got anything on contract.
You know what they say, happy wife, happy life, right?
I say happy spouse, happy life, but it doesn't rhyme, unfortunately.
No.
But yeah, I mean, like that's a perfect example of how a deal does not get to the closing table yet. We spent 5 days, countless hours, time into it, and we did that all for free.
And it seemed like the search evolved on the fly pretty rapidly too. From what you set out to what you finished, and then what happened? What would you say happened on that one?
I would say that what happened there was first problem was it was a Zillow lead, first off. So that's the fun click and go and show situation.
Yeah.
So they think that, most of the times on those Zillow leads, they think they're getting the listing agent, when in actuality it's just another buyer's agent trying to get another way of getting a referral.
Which is interesting. Brings me up, I've gotten a lot of people lately, oddly enough, wanting to work directly with the listing agent. You ever get that?
I get that way too much.
And I don't get it. I truly don't understand. I mean, I think I know what they're trying to do. I think they think they can save themselves a couple bucks maybe.
I don't know.
But do they realize it also goes to the listing agent in the end?
Yeah, well, I mean, absolutely. I mean, the problem is that people think that, they are wasting money on a buyer's agent by doing stuff that they clearly think that they can do, even though they've only done it at best 2 times in their lives. They bought a house.
Well, being a realtor's easy.
Yeah, being a realtor's easy. It's just as simple as, opening doors, getting the listing and giving you a piece of paper, and, pointing out basic features of the house.
Yeah, that's right.
But I kind of correlated this to the other day. I was on TikTok the other day, and I was watching, and I'm intrigued by it because I've been in the market for buying a car lately. There's these car brokers. You call them, tell them exactly what you want, and they're going to go out and source that car for you for a low fee. Well, that's the same thing as having a realtor.
Yeah, and then my question would be, does the amount that they're going to save you, does that surpass the fee?
Oh, 100%.
Well, of course.
100%, because
I want the info for this guy.
Well, the thing of the matter is that the dealership is trying to get the best rate for themselves for that car.
Right.
Kind of
the listing agent.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So at the end of the day, some of these people are coming from states that have what they call fiduciary responsibilities, and Florida's not like that. It's just straight up transaction. So there is no fiduciary responsibility to you from a listing agent's perspective. All they want to do is get you to the closing table and get as much money as they can for themselves. And if you're working directly with them, it doesn't even actually mean that they're working for you.
No, in fact, quite the opposite. Their duties are to the seller.
Absolutely.
And their listing.
Yeah, 100%.
They're there to literally just write up the paperwork for you and then ship it off to title to handle the rest.
100%.
You can't call them. You can't ask them specific questions like, oh, do you think the seller would do this? They can't. They're obligated not to be able to.
100%, because that is a conflict of interest between the two parties.
So that's a huge disadvantage.
But even if you sign with them and said, so you did buyer agency compensation or brokerage with that buyer, and they're the listing agent, you think, oh, well, they're working for me as well. No, now they can't give recommendations to either the listing the seller or the buyer.
Yeah.
It's just like an intermediator between the two processes. It's like, oh, well, you could try that. and see how it goes.
Which is funny because we've shown hundreds of properties, and I haven't come across one single house that's not offering buyer agent compensation. So I don't want to say it's free because it's left pocket, right pocket, 100%. But at the end of the day, I've never collected a single dime from any of my buyers to pay for my compensation. It comes from the sale of the house.
100%. It's not guaranteed.
No,
obviously,
it's not.
It's negotiable.
It's negotiable, but I'd say, I mean, we've shown in the past, I don't know, half a year, we've probably showed hundreds of properties.
Easily. Never
had a single one say, we're not offering. Everything's negotiable. And Absolutely. If they aren't willing to say what the compensation is, they're like, it's negotiable.
Yeah, and they say they're open to compensation.
But the bottom line is, I've never written a deal once since this law changed where the buyer pays me.
Not at all. No, absolutely. It's
so that's the biggest misnomer, and I think it's
huge.
Funny. And it's funny because a lot of them, I'd say the only couple times I've gotten that, I want to work with listing agents from Zillow.
Yeah, exactly. Zillow or like, and once again, like you think you're going to be able to negotiate one of the largest purchases of your life,
right?
Because of why?
Right. The only person that could be equipped to do that, other than a realtor, is maybe a real estate attorney. Perfect.
Yeah, or hey, maybe you're an investor that has done this several times over. Go for it. Absolutely, 100%. I if you can,
get your own lawyer.
I commend you.
Go through the steps yourself. Work with the title company. Work with insurance. I mean, I'm not going to rattle off everything that we do, but it is kind of comical, and I do chuckle. I felt bad. I was having a rough day one day, and someone told me I want to work with a listing agent. I actually kind of laughed right in his face. It's like, good luck.
It's like, I'll pray for you.
Yeah, good luck.
It's kind of like somebody trying to list their own house, too. Like, the stress and the frustration. They're like, oh, well, you just take pictures and you put it on the MLS and it sells itself, right?
Yeah, right.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, at the end of the day, like, most times when you work with an agent, you're going to get either less or buy the house for less, or you're going to sell it for more. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's actually statistically proven, and NAR does that all the time. They pull those stats. And it's more times than not, if you're for sale by owner, you're going to most likely list with an agent eventually, and it's going to probably be in your detriment to wait.
Yeah.
And then you're going to get less money. But it's just crazy. The other thing I'm noticing a lot right now, I don't know if you've noticed it, is so we're originally from the Northeast, right? So it's like we get a lot of those people that want to come and retire down here or relocate down here from up there. And it's a pretty solid market up there. I got people coming down here thinking it's 2007 in Florida, and it's the complete opposite of that. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's nuts to me.
Oh, yeah, it's absolutely wild. I don't know. Being from Massachusetts myself, I know that very well. I've had several buyers coming down looking, saying, I got this amount of money, I want this, that, and everything else, all for pennies on the dollar. And I'm kind of looking, I'm scratching my head, I'm like, well, we do a lot as Realtor, but I'm not a magician. You want a pool, you want a golf community with a water view for $350,000. I mean,
and it can't be more than 3 years old.
Right, of course, and the HOAs have to be only $100, whatever it is, and it's like I'm like I'm from Massachusetts. I'm just trying to figure out where is the discount, because it happened. I had multiple people in town have these very stringent requirements, and I show them the houses within them, and they're like, well, why is this all I get? I'm like, well, because you're spending $300,000. I hate to say it,
but they're selling their rundown house in Lowell, Massachusetts for $700,000. That's a single story cape.
I know.
That has one bathroom.
Yeah, or my 1,600 square foot home that's almost $1 million now in Massachusetts. So let's talk about overvalued here. It is interesting.
I think what it is the perception that Florida is still the kind of place where our grandmothers or our aunts and uncles retired, and they got all they wanted for low cost, because they sell for a fire sale up north, mm-hmm. and they can buy low down here and live the rest of their life. Sell their house for $700, buy a house for $350. They put another $350 in their bank and live off of it for the rest of their lives. Mm-hmm. I haven't seen that since before COVID. Like, what was it, 2020? Maybe you could get a house that was brand new construction for $350 with a gated community. Maybe not with a pool. Maybe with a pool. But those houses doubled in price during COVID, and they haven't come back down.
Right.
Now, if you go towards Orlando or Ocala, maybe that's a possibility. I know that those markets are still fluctuating pretty badly, but West Coast, East Coast, near the water, I think that we've kind of settled. What are your? Would you agree?
Yeah, I mean, we had the mild correction shortly after COVID, but ever since then, it's been. I mean, we're well above pre-COVID levels and then some. I think it's, most areas it's well over 70% increase. So, and that's not here to change. Now, there's this persona or this perception rather that Florida has a ton of inventory.
Yeah.
That there's a massive correction coming. We've already seen it, in my opinion, at least in Southwest Florida. There was a period of time after COVID where we had a lot of inventory. Homes were sitting for a very long time.
Yeah.
The values were starting to go down. The good news is values have come down a little bit. So right now, I think we're in a prime opportunity for buyers. This is a phenomenal opportunity for buyers that we're in right now. We're not quite in season, which is when inventory starts to get slashed. I mean, look at your community in the place. There was 50 listings before season. Last we checked, there's 18.
And that was actually a healthy market.
That was a healthy market.
It's about 5% of your community, if it's on the market for resale, is healthy. Anything more is you gotta worry about that.
And we should clarify what a buyer's market and a balanced market and a
Absolutely.
seller's market. Typically, in most anywhere in the country, a balanced market is 6 months of inventory or less.
Yeah.
Anything above that's a buyer's market. Anything below is typically a seller's market.
Yeah.
Rule of thumb.
Yeah.
But to your point, within the specific communities down here, under 5% is a healthy community.
Yeah, absolutely. And the funny thing about it is that we look at all these communities right now. There's a lot of communities that are under that 5% mark.
We think they're high because during COVID, anything over 1% turnover was crazy. Now 3%'s pretty normal, and it's a great advantage to buyers.
Yeah,
because the prices did drop slightly since COVID.
And from the perspective of a buyer's perspective, if and don't get me wrong, there's plenty of people that are listing their house thinking it's still COVID and they overpriced their house.
That's another topic.
That's a whole nother situation. But those are fewer and far between nowadays.
Yeah,
people
we've
have
had a couple of years finally to get
people
that.
are adjusted.
And that's part of the reason why I think we had inventory so high. It's because people saw a scratch ticket. They might have bought it pre-COVID, want to sell it for 2, 3, 4x of what they bought it for. And then all of a sudden you multiply that by 10, 20, 30%, you're getting flooded with all these unrealistic home values.
Absolutely. I mean, what we're seeing, and at least what I'm seeing, is that if a house is reasonably priced, you can negotiate somewhere between 4 to 6% off that price.
Yeah, and every gated community is different. But
But on average, things are going for about 94% of reasonable asking price.
Now, the caveat to that is if you have a house that's absolutely done to the nines, I mean, let's face it, the days where people were buying sight unseen down here is over.
Oh, gone.
And so, those houses that need a little work and aren't priced the way they should be, those are going to sit.
Yeah.
And I don't care if you're the Wolf of Wall Street yourself, you're not selling that house. Because people don't want to do the work because we do have more inventory, even though it's typically 6 months, which is a balanced market. We do have more to choose from, which means you can get everything you want. That's pretty much the way you want it without having to do a ton of renovation in most communities.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you're one of those people that are trying to sell your house and there's enough past inventory that has sold similar to your property at this point that you can compare and contrast your property now. Once we got out of COVID, it was like, what's the price? We're not sure really what the price is off of these houses because they were so skewed from that situation. If you're one of those people that are listing your house unrealistically, I'm going to be honest. As a agent, I'm going to tell you I'm not going to take your listing.
Oh, absolutely.
Because
I mean, within reason.
But if anybody who is taking a property that is ridiculously overpriced, they're most likely doing it A, because they're desperate for a listing, or B, they want to get into a community and just get a listing.
Yeah, they want to get the listing and do an open house and get new buyers.
Yeah, exactly.
They're just completely have an illusion of hope that they're going to sell a home that's priced 15% over market. It's never going to happen. Now, at least within, if everything's the same. Because obviously, if your house is special, you have premium upgrades, all these things. You can obviously ask for way more.
But then there's also the caveat, okay, to your point, my neighborhood has 16 listings in it. If you have low amount of listings in your neighborhood and maybe you're overpriced a little bit, yeah, you might be able to get that because if somebody wants your specific neighborhood and is willing to take a little bit more on that property. But I find those fewer and far between unless you have a premium community and there's not a lot of inventory and it hasn't had a lot of inventory.
And that's the point. Like there's a ton of these the golf communities that I like to specialize in. There's very limited inventory in the bundle golf community. So everything we're talking about is for the other communities mostly, but some of those special communities doesn't matter if you have upgrades or not. They're going quick.
But I mean, we even see some of these brand new builds that are like, was it? What's the community over
David
here?
Shores?
No, the premium tower there that we're
Kalia Bay.
Kalia Bay, like. We went over there, gorgeous house, but I don't necessarily see the draw. But people are dropping a ton of money to be in these condos.
It's not even just the money that they're dropping it annually of over $40,000 a year. That's my thing.
With no golf.
And that brings me up to like another point, might be for another day, but since we're on it, when people come down, second, third, if you're lucky, fourth house, I want to be friends with that person if it's their fourth house. Down here in Florida, buying a second, a third, fourth house, whatever it may be, doesn't matter versus having a condo to me. Yeah. Because when you buy a house down here, almost every HOA, you're getting your lawn cut.
Unless you're in private land, right?
Exactly. There's no maintenance whatsoever. Everything down here is smart app. So you want to control your thermostat from afar, your alarm system, and then we have what's called Home Watch down here, which I had never heard of before in my life. I'm like, I can watch my home. It's not moving. It's still there. But like down here, it's pennies on the dollar to have someone come by, security personnel. We have a friend that only hires ex-military and service folks that are go by the property, make sure it's not on fire. Make sure that the water's running and all the things that you do. Yeah. Compared to look at Bonita Bay. Yeah. You move into Bonita Bay, you can get a single family home.
Fraction of the cost.
$4,000 to $6,000 in some of the communities. Go to the high rises. Yeah. $35,000-$40,000 just because you're afraid of having to replace a roof in 15 years from now. Yeah. Think about all the money you're spending.
The amount of money, the insurance that is for that property.
You got a pool guy. You got the landscaping taken care of, and it's just like I'm not against condos. No. It's for somebody. Yeah. It's not for me ever. Yeah. But I understand the draw. Yeah. I do. However, if you're worried about it because you have 2 houses up north and this is going to be your third, I get your worry. But just know you got the pool guy that comes. You got the home watch that can come in, make sure everything's good, and you're going to save a ton of money. And you get your own place. Who wants to hear footsteps above you?
The only caveat to that, where I would say that a condo is worth it, is, and if you have a ridiculous amount of expendable money. Is
the views.
Is the views. Yeah, 100% the views.
I was going to back up a little bit. Like if you want a water view down there, on the Gulf, and you don't want to be on Gordon Drive spending $40 to $60 million.
Oh my gosh.
Then yes, I'll backtrack a little bit.
But you have to have a ridiculous amount of expendable money for that. Like you said, $40,000 for an HOA fee versus spending maybe $5,000 in some of these other communities. I mean, you'd have to really, really want that view. Yeah. So, but I mean, I just feel like people think that Florida is still their mother's or their grandparents' Florida. And what people need to start coming to realization is that is long gone.
And Naples isn't necessarily heaven's waiting room anymore.
No. Gosh, no.
It's getting younger.
It's getting younger. And we get all these people on YouTube and all these other channels, gloom and dooms, but they're taking perspective of the entire state of Florida is such a diverse amount of markets.
But they're really just clickbait.
Oh, it's absolutely clickbait. But these people are taking a state which is, you could put New Hampshire probably 4 times over into this state of Florida, and trying to compile all of those markets into one data point. You can't do that.
Well, you really can't do that anywhere in the country either, if you think about it. It is silly because
Rhode Island, maybe.
Yeah, that's true. Rhode Island. But even Massachusetts, tiny state. Yeah. Where I'm from, a little town called Lakeville. Most people from Massachusetts never heard of. I'm not comparing that to a very wealthy town, Wellesley.
Or Boston.
Right. It just so it's like if you don't do it in your home state, why would you do it here?
It's because it's clickbait. Right. It's because people wanted the scare tactics to get you on there. Like, I mean,
and there's a lot of that. I mean, whether it comes to that, the insurance prices down here. I mean, my insurance is, I have a very, very reasonable policy down here. It's just amazing how many clickbait articles, how many doom and gloom articles, and to your point, I think you hit the nail on the head. It's like it's city based. I mean, there's some areas like I hate to break it to you, if you live on the water, right smack dab on the water, you're gonna have
flood insurance.
A lot higher insurance than I will in Estero.
But you get the type of living that you want. Like it's all about choices. And
but I mean, that's the same with my folks have a Cape house in Cape Cod. Yeah. They know what they're getting. You have to pay more to play.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's like one of those things where we talk about all the time with buyers is like, what is the lifestyle you want to live? If you want to be on the water, we're going to tell you what the prices are to be on the water, and there should be no shock and awe when you get to the listings, and then we're like, well, you need this, 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 and this, and this is how much everything costs.
Yeah.
Too many times do realtors just say, come on down, we'll show you properties, and then they get their jaw dropped, and it's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. I do want to bring up though the Cape Coral situation and how that is national news right now with the fact that it's the most amount of foreclosures in the country, and there's so much inventory in there, or we had a person local that thinks that there's lack of inventory.
Realtor at that.
And I was just like, what are you talking about?
It's weird because numbers, it says there's only 5.3. I'm not necessarily buying 5.3 months of inventory. But there's a lot of inventory there, and there's a decent amount of foreclosures. But you still look at it for the amount of homes that are available and for sale. I mean, you get some for foreclosures. Mm-hmm. I think that's going to be a trend across the country, and everything's so expensive.
Absolutely. The other thing that, to your shock and awe, we had somebody who just recently put an offer on a house that you looked at and you're like, you're not going to like this house. And we see houses all the time. But, it just goes to show you that, you could be online clicking through as many pictures as you want of what you think you're going to like, and you're going to see...
It's a dating profile.
So many times somebody clicks through a property, and I don't even do it. I'm like, that's the exact same house as that community over there, and it looks gorgeous. But once again, unless you're in the area to be able to go look at some of these communities or areas in which these houses are, it doesn't matter how nice the house is.
No.
The community and the location is what drives whether you want the house or not.
But with the example you were bringing up, and this doesn't happen often, it's kind of a phenomenon where the house actually looks better in person than it does online.
Yeah.
And to what I like to think about if I was on a dating website.
Yeah.
But that aside, it's like most times, they're all doctored up online.
It's the opposite.
They look amazing. It's the opposite. And you get there and it's POS.
Well, it's the profile of the girl that you think you're going to meet, and then all of a sudden you're meeting a completely different person that's 20 years older.
Yeah. So, so it's that's the thing. It's like you can click around on Zillow. It's fun. I did it. I did it for two years before I moved down, so I get it. Like, you're bored at work, you're getting yelled at by your boss. Like, I'm just going to live the dream and start thinking about it, looking at properties online. And no real intent. I'm just kind of bored. I mean, the intent's there someday. And we get those people all the time. I actually love working with those. We had about 3 closings last year where we were working with them for 2 to 3 years.
Yeah, I mean, those ones are very satisfying.
It's great to see it come from... Yeah. I'm just kind of daydreaming to come to fruition. It's it's cool to see those.
But, I mean, it's just one of those things where, we have people that are on our CRM that have literally looked through 300 properties.
Yeah.
And I've talked to them. They're very serious buyers. But then, looking through 300 properties, I'm like, you are getting analysis paralysis looking at these properties because you can't decide which one's better than the other because you're not here.
Yeah.
You have to get into town. You have to take a trip, enjoy the vacation, and really scope out the areas.
Well, think about it. We both moved down here to move to Cape Coral.
Yeah.
And I'm partly to blame because, you're my brother-in-law, and, I wasn't necessarily the biggest fan at the time of Cape Coral. I've warmed up to it now.
Yeah.
But I loved Estero, Bonita, and Naples. And so
all for different reasons.
We moved to down here. We sold our house, which is another topic most people wouldn't do what I did. I
Yeah.
sold my house, nowhere to live, had an Airbnb in a town that I ended up not wanting to live in.
Yeah.
Stumbled upon Estero, which is got to be 95% gated communities.
Easily.
I had never been in a gated community before in Massachusetts. We had one, I think, that I knew of in my town.
Yeah.
And I thought it was the weirdest thing.
Yeah.
Down here, it's everywhere. And and it's the funniest thing is, Joe, I said, when I moved down here, I'm like, I'm never moving in a gated community. Why would I ever do that? I don't want to have my neighbors next. It's the best thing I ever did. I don't have to mow my own lawn. I don't have to do anything.
It
But
definitely has its pros and cons.
What I didn't realize, though, was coming from a place that doesn't have gated communities really, was that the one next to me is wildly different.
So different.
I mean, think of me, where I live, Bellatera. You move there, you like the lush preserve, the beautiful tree cover, the great ponds and lakes, and seeing deer in my front lawn, eating my favorite flowers.
You guys get a lot of deer.
And versus like Wild Blue, that's like double the cost, and that has more of that sandals type of vacation feel.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or like the place where you live, which is like a happy medium of both, where you're great for families, and it's just so funny to me because that's the one thing I wish my realtor did when I came. I love the realtor I used when I first came down, but I didn't realize. Like, I just figured the gated community across the street's the same as mine.
Exactly.
Like,
I just want the best
different
price.
Sign.
I want the house I want with the price I want, and then the community is what the community is.
And it didn't make any sense. And I think that's kind of the way the misnomer comes of, like, sometimes why people think Florida's cheap because it's like, oh, it's just all gated communities.
Yeah.
You don't know what you're getting when you walk in those gates.
Yeah.
You're getting something completely different.
Oh, and then you look at gated communities that
it's like a different town.
Exactly, but you look at gated communities where you're like where we're at in a little bit east of 41 and 75, where we're out of a flood zone, which is a perk. We don't have those issues with that insurance hike. We are a little bit of a drive from some stuff, but that's to be honest, anywhere in
Florida. That's
why
I love that new Vivid Shores.
Anywhere in Florida is a drive. Let's be honest. Like it takes a little bit to get anywhere, but like. You have a community that's say $1,400 a quarter for your HOA fees, and you got luxury pools, you got a restaurant, you got a coffee bar, you got a state-of-the-art gym, you got all these things, all these amenities, and then you go to a condo that is right next to the beach, and you're paying $2,000 a quarter with nothing. Right. Maybe a small little pool.
Trade-offs.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like it's like as you get close to the water, the HOA fee goes way, 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 way up. Mm-hmm. Except for, I would say, Pelican Landing, which I think is a premium community that is ready to be overturned around this area.
You that just because we're sitting right outside of it?
It might be because we're right outside of Pelican Landing. But to be honest, I got asked the other day, what would be the one community, if you could take anything and pick a community that you would move to? Now, granted, I have young kids. Probably would wait till they get a little bit older because there's not a big, family atmosphere with Pelican Landing, but there's a lot of perks to Pelican Landing. I picked Pelican Landing because
it's got a lot of perks that the family would love too.
Well, once the kids get a little bit older,
island.
Well, that's the thing. It's like it's a golf community.
Can we just talk about that? It's got a private island.
Private beach club island that you
just call it private island.
Private island. But yeah, they take you out there with a pontoon boat from the community dock. And they float you over to your island for the day. Yeah. You bring your beach chair and your towels, and you're good to go. Like, you got places like Bonita Bay, which is a beautiful community and incredible golf. Was it 2 golf courses or 3? Is it 2?
54 holes.
Okay, so
whatever that's 3.
That's 3 golf courses. Amazing tennis center, and they have their own private spot on Bonita Beach Road, but anybody can walk past you on that beach. It has a clubhouse there, which is cool, but like, it's not their own island. No. Pelican Landing has its own island. Yeah. No one's going there. Right. So I mean, like, it's $300 a month.
I know, and it's one of those more chill HOAs, if you will, where you can kind of get away with doing a lot of different individual things in your neighborhood compared to. Some others that are a little more tight. Yeah. Where you have a little bit more restrictive. That's the other thing. All right, let's go back to shameless plug here for realtors. Why work with a realtor? Those are some of the things like, I was the type that I did not want to be in a restrictive community. Mm-hmm. I don't want to be told that I can do some things and can't. And a lot of, I understood some HOAs, all HOAs within reason. You can't park a school bus on a front yard for... aesthetics. You don't want the neighborhood going to crap. Yep. I get it. But at the same time, it's like you just spit out a bunch of information about Pelican Landing, in Bonita Bay, whereas me coming from up north,
Yeah.
I look at them the same on paper. Okay, they're both golf communities. They both have a tennis court, pickle. And I'm like, oh, they're the same.
But do you know that, like we do, because we do this all the time, that there's a waiting list in Bonita Bay to get on the golf course,
Yeah,
and you might die before you get in.
Yeah, it's like 4 to 5 years.
And the buy-in is what? $250,000. Yeah, $250,000.
Bonita Bay, you can correct me if I'm wrong here, but it's right, $225, $250.
Yeah, it's up there. Let's just say it's a pretty penny. And then you have your annual dues that you have to do, and your club fees and all that stuff on top of your HOA fees.
Right, exactly. So that's some of the things. It's just like, there's, not to mention you got multiple different types of golf communities.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you want to come down here and be your own realtor,
go for it.
Go on Zillow. The other thing that Zillow doesn't do that great, they actually did get better, so I can't be bashing them too much, is the communities, being able to see what you're looking at.
Yeah.
So like, Bonita Estero, mostly gated communities.
Yeah.
You look at a house online on Zillow, I don't know what gated community I'm looking at. Now, recently I did notice they added, you can see the communities in there, but they don't tell you about the amenities.
They don't tell you anything about it
You don't
whatsoever.
know what it, there's just so much to know about it.
And like I said, you have the exact same model house in two different communities at two different price points, and you're like, why is it two different price points? Well, because one's more desirable in one community than in the other, but they're exact same house.
Yeah.
That's why we talk about what is the lifestyle you want to live, and we'll back you into the house that fits.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like you always want to pick the lifestyle first and the community first.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I've fallen in love online. Like, oh man, the houses I saw in Port Charlotte and Northwest
They're
Cape Coral
beautiful.
when we were down here, I'm like, I look like Rockefeller in some of these. But then I get to the area, I'm like, it's not for me.
Yeah.
So it's like you just have to pick. I mean, everybody knows location. But down here, it's like even more so because, as I said, the gated communities are very different from one another.
I think that a lot of times, and right now what we see for the better part is about a 2 to 3 year turnaround for people who buy in another community. Like they sell their house within 2 to 3 years. They move down here. They live in their house for 2 to 3 years, and then they move again.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't think that they scoped out their neighborhood quite well enough to figure out what it is they truly wanted. Maybe they didn't have a realtor that guided them. Maybe they thought they wanted something else.
I'll play devil's advocate on that, though. I hate that phrase, but anyways, I did a video on this. That's why I also appreciate people like that because they didn't just decide to rent first.
Sure.
A lot of people come down here like, I'm just going to rent Airbnb for 3 months in January through March. And you don't get the whole experience by renting, and you're paying through the nose.
No, absolutely.
So for that perspective, it's depending on when you buy. If you live there for a couple of years, they actually took the chance. Now they know what they want.
Yeah, absolutely.
So they've got the community. It might not even been the wrong fit. Most times that we see those people moving, they love the community. They want to buy within the same community and upgrade the house.
Sure.
They tiptoed down here.
And then I call them community hoppers. Sometimes they come, they're empty nesters.
Yeah.
They
With
live
a
a
shuffle.
very minimal life. And what they do is they go to the next best community that they can go to.
Right.
So like, there's a lot of people that are over at the place that lived there for when they were building. Lived there for a couple of years after it was finished, and then they jumped over to Verdana, which is buildings, which you could do. But I just think that the overturn is a little bit of the fact that people don't do enough digging and research, or their realtor didn't explain to them what it is that they're getting themselves into as much. Inside the same community, that's not a community thing. That's I want a better house or I want a bigger house. I'm talking about like the people that are like, oh man, I need to get out of this community because it's just not the right one for me. And it truly comes down to people looking at the house first versus the lifestyle first. So that's just my personal 2 cents on that. Mm-hmm. I have no stats to put on that. That's just my perspective. So.
Yeah, I think that's accurate. And then you got new communities like Kingston.
Yep.
So it's like, I want to get down here right now, so I'm going to buy in the Verdana.
Yep.
Knowing I'm going to live in it maybe for the next year. Maybe I'm the type, and I'm very impatient. I know you are too.
No, absolutely.
Where I don't want to wait for Kingston and the Esplanade within Kingston's amenities. So I'm going to live in Verdana, knowing my long-term plan. But you gotta explain that to your realtor.
Yeah.
Because then now you're gonna have to find the house that's priced really attractively. So if you sell it in a year or two,
Yep.
you're gonna be able to at least break even, if not go into the green possibly,
Yep.
depending on what happens to the market. But for me personally, I don't want to live in a construction zone.
No.
I want all my amenities now. So like a new community like Kingston is being put up. I'm gonna buy, and I'm a retiree that has a lot more
Yep.
money than I do right now. I'm gonna buy a smaller house in something like Verdana.
Yeah.
Get the premium lot that I want within Kingston.
Yep.
And live in my
Verdana
home.
until it's built up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of people do that.
Plus, if you live in one of those new constructions, make sure you get the run flats on your tires.
Yeah, and well, you don't have to worry about it now.
Otherwise,
Maybe
invest
impact
in
glass, so you don't have to hear all the bulldozers
that
backing
too,
up.
or invest in a plug kit for your tires.
Yeah.
Um,
They should do that down here in Corkscrew Road from all the construction. They should give us
a free plug kit.
a free plug kit or maybe a stipend to our taxes for the nails.
Hey, so I just want to say thanks for watching the video. The end of that kind of got cut off a little bit, but Jared and I are both very appreciative of you guys logging on to the channel, checking out what we got to talk about. I mean, it's just two guys, two realtors that are, fortunate to be brother-in-laws and business partners here in Southwest Florida, trying to provide you guys with the most insightful information that we can see from our perspective. We both relocated from Southwest Florida from New Hampshire and Massachusetts, and so we're just trying to provide you guys with what we see and what we've been doing with, and we're in it every single day. If this content is stuff that you are interested in, please feel free to put the like button, subscribe, leave a comment. Engage with us. If you disagree with us, love to have a conversation back about that. If you just want to, get some advice on different aspects of Florida or what to do, we're here. This is a service business here. No longer is real estate a sales job. It's more of a service-based job. And it really should have been like that all the way through anyways. So we're here to provide a service to you. We love doing it. And we get really, really a lot of joy and satisfaction on making people's dreams come true moving to Southwest Florida. So once again, hit the like button, subscribe, and we'll check you out in the next video.